Hello and welcome to Nature's Newsroom here on Ocean Day at COP26. I'm Helen Scales and I am thrilled now to be joined by Shauna Aminath, Minister of the Environment, Climate Change and Technology from the Maldives. Shauna, thank you so much for joining us. The Maldives, your president talked just this week about the existential threat of climate change to your country. And I know that this is an issue very close to your own heart. You've worked very, very strongly on the issues of climate change and the fabulous oceans that you're surrounded by. Perhaps you could tell us some more about those threats and what you're doing about your pledges to addressing the climate problems.
Thank you, and it's really great to be here with you. The Maldives is about 1,200 islands. I think most of the world knows the Maldives as a dream holiday destination, but I've always said that that's where I live, it's where my home is. And from 1,200 islands, we have coral reefs as a main source of protection. With climate change, what's happening is the coral reefs are dying, and when the coral reefs are dying, we lose the only source of protection for our islands. And then we have coastal flooding, inundation, and tidal swells, which again contaminates our fresh waterlands in the islands. So none of the islands in the Maldives have access to fresh water. So coral reefs are our survival, our income, and our food as well. And as a result of global warming, the coral reefs are dying.
So how are you taking an ocean-based approach to making pledges here at COP? And perhaps how do you think other people too here can be thinking more about the oceans as we are looking to work out how to both deal with the impacts of climate change and also hopefully mitigate against them?
We are a very large ocean state. 99% of our country is the ocean. We have very large coral reef area as well. We've protected 13% of our reef area. We are working to protect at least 20% of our oceans. We are doing what we can at home. We are phasing out single-use plastics. We are transitioning from an economy run on diesel to one powered by sunshine. So at home, we are doing what we can to protect the most important resource that we have, which is the ocean.
And what do you see as the big challenges that still remain? Because what we're seeing here on Ocean Day a lot is that even though 70% of the planet is covered by our ocean, it isn't really taking such a big step into these negotiations. And what do you see as the challenges for allowing perhaps more of the ocean to flow back into these discussions and to take that central role that really needs to take?
Countries like the Maldives coming out here and talking about the impact that we are seeing, we're living, and it's not an if or when for us. We are living it. We are seeing the impacts of climate change right now. Our coral reefs are bleaching, and if we can relate that message to the people, I think it's taken a message, a strong message to countries who have not heard about what's happening in the world because of climate change.
And the Maldives has taken a very key role in putting that message out for many years now. And in that time, have you seen changes in how people respond to your voices like yours saying, hey, you've got to think about what's happening to us out here on these, really at the front line of climate change, if you like. Are you seeing changes there in terms of the attitudes and the responses you're getting to the things you're saying?
Partly yes, partly no. And I'll explain to you first why I said yes. I've been coming to COP and I've been engaged in negotiations for years. And what I have seen, the attitude where it's changing is people are talking about how important adaptation is for countries like the Maldives. And before, it was more about the mitigation side of things. And even in UNGA, even in high-level meetings that I've been in, people understand how urgent it is to divert climate finance for adaptation. Secondly, when I said no, what I meant is people don't understand how urgent that we need this adaptation finance. Countries like the Maldives have not received the finance that we have been promised. All these COPs that we have been coming to, and I think that message has been relayed very clearly, very strongly by small island states.
And finally, what are your hopes for the outcomes of this particular COP, for COP26? And do you have your latest message to send out there to the host nation, to other nations who are here today?
two things we're asking from COP. One is that we have to limit global temperatures from reaching beyond 1.5. For us, for countries like the Maldives, small island states, the difference between 1.5 and 2 degrees is a death sentence. Our islands are getting flooded, our reefs are dying, and ultimately we're talking about a death of a nation because of the impacts of climate change. We don't want countries like the Maldives to become uninhabitable by the end of the century. So we all want the Maldives to be there, for you to come to the Maldives for holidays, for you to come to the Maldives for your honeymoon. So please help us be able to live in the Maldives just like you are able to live in other countries. But what I also want to say is that it's no longer about an issue that's affecting the Maldives alone. It is affecting Berlin. It is affecting China. It's affecting the wildfires in California, in Australia, and India. It's affecting us all. We are all in this together. So I think that's also a change in attitude that I have seen. Secondly, we are in COP. We are here to really voice our concerns about how slow international system has been in providing the assistance that we need to adapt urgently to the issues that we're facing today.
Minister Shauna, thank you so much for those strong words. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks.